From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
Please join me in welcoming the author of Girls Who Code, Learn to Code and Change the World, Reshma Saujani.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm a little short, so I got to make this smaller. How are you guys? Yay, you feeling good? All right, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and about why I spend my life teaching girls how to computer program. So that's me. I am a weird person to have started Girls Who Code because I didn't know how to code until I started the organization. I was terrified of math and science growing up. My parents came here as refugees from Uganda, and when we came to this country, every night my father would sit at the dinner table and he'd ask me, "What's 2 + 2?" And I would immediately say 5. You know, those dinner conversations made me really nervous because the answer didn't come to me immediately. And it made me feel like I wasn't good at math or science. I knew as a little girl what I wanted to do when I grow up. Because my parents came here as refugees, I love this country. And my father would also, in addition to those math questions, every night he would read to me. And he'd read to me about Dr. King and Mahatma Gandhi and Eleanor Roosevelt. And I knew at a young age that I wanted to change the world. I woke up at age 33, which is a long time from where you guys are at right now. And I wasn't happy with what I was doing professionally. It was 2008, and I was watching my mentor, Hillary Clinton, give her first concession speech. And she had this line where she said, you know, just because I failed doesn't mean you shouldn't try too. And I literally felt like she was speaking to me. So at age 33, I decided to run for United States Congress against someone who had been there for a really long time. I probably had like less than a 1% chance of winning. I had a 1,000-page policy book. I remember the only thing my friends and I knew how to do was build a website, and we built one. And we raised like $50,000 from Indian aunties that were just so happy an Indian girl was running for office. But it was the best 10 months of my life. And on election day, in my victory party that never ended up happening, I was holding my father's hand watching the returns come in. And that little ticker was not moving past 19% of the vote. I had lost. I was broke. I was humiliated. And I had no contingency plan. But as I went to bed that night, the faces that I kept seeing over and over and over again were actually the ones that I had never met. Because when you run for office, you end up going into a lot of schools. And I'd go into computer science classes and robotics classes, and I'd see a lot of boys. But I didn't see any girls. And I kept asking myself, where are the girls? And this question of where are the girls started as a question, and then I became really obsessed with it because I knew that young women made up the majority of college graduates, the majority of our labor force, but we weren't in this industry called technology that was literally shaping everything about the way we live and work. My father, when I was growing up, my father would always say to me, Reshma, you have 3 choices. You can be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. Because he wanted me to have a career where I could buy a house, you know, maybe get a dog, have a family, be economically secure. And the thing is, we don't have this conversation with our young folks, especially our young women. You know, there's 500,000 open jobs right now in computing and technology. Last year, we graduated 40,000 computer science graduates. China, for example, graduated 350,000 graduates. And these jobs aren't just in New York City, where I'm from, or Silicon Valley, which I know you hear about. They are everywhere. 91% of these open jobs are outside of our traditional tech ecosystem. The problem is that we're not graduating enough people. And people always ask me, well, what's the solution to that? And I think it's women power. You know, I told you, as many of you know, women are the majority in college, where they're also today, they're 45% of America's breadwinners. And the thing is that when it comes to technology, we've had this tremendous decline of women in technology. In the 1980s, if you walked into any gaming camp in America, it would have been half boys, half girls. Today, you walk into any computer science classroom in America, and less than 1 out of 5 will be girls. For the girls in the room right now, how many of you are taking a computer science class? Raise your hand. And how many of you are one of the few girls in your classroom? Keep your hand up. Yeah. And the thing is you guys are lucky, because studies will show that if you're a young girl like you and you haven't taken computer science in high school, you're unlikely to take it in college. Those powerful jobs that are open and available are no longer open to our girls if we don't provide them education in those formative years. And so people always ask me, like, why? Why have you seen this dramatic decline of women? Well, the first thing is culture. Let's be honest. We had a Barbie doll that says, I hate math. Let's go shopping instead. We can walk into Forever 21 and buy a t-shirt that says, I'm allergic to algebra. When you turn on the television and you look at what a computer programmer looks like, it's normally a dude in a hoodie sitting in a basement somewhere. He's drinking a Red Bull and he hasn't showered, right? And little girls look at that image and they say, not only do I not want to be him, I don't even want to be friends with him. You cannot be what you cannot see. And what our girls see is this image, and it has to change. The second thing is, and I don't know how or when this started, but how many girls in this room have ever said, I hate math or I hate science? Raise your hand. Now, how many of you ever said, I hate to read or I hate to write? All right, just was always like one. Here's the thing. It is culturally acceptable for our girls and some of the moms in this room to say, I hate math, I hate science. I'm sure most of the moms in this room have probably said that before too. Raise your hand. And you might even feel comfortable going into a dinner party and be like, ugh, I can't stand working with numbers. Or maybe even at an interview, just so you know, I'm not that great with spreadsheets. You would never walk into a dinner party, and certainly not an interview, and just say, I don't write that well. It would not be socially acceptable. So we have a culture, and listen, I love Mean Girls. I watch it on repeat, and you know the scene where she crosses off the A and puts a D just to get the affections of a boy. We live in a culture that celebrates this myth that girls hate math and science, and that they hate a skill that they need to survive in the 21st century, and it's got to change. The second thing is, I've been thinking about this a lot, is I believe that we raise our girls to be perfect, and we raise our boys to be brave. You know, at a young age, we tell our girls to smile pretty, play it safe, get all A's, and we teach our boys to crawl to the top of the monkey bars and just jump off head first. I have a 2.5-year-old son, which is very off-brand. But I think about his swimming class. So his swim class is like half boys and half girls. And when the girls are learning how to swim, all the parents are like, it's okay, honey. You don't have to get your face wet. Don't be scared. And with the boys, they're like pushing them into the deep end at 6 months. The dads and the moms. Because they're trying to teach their sons how to be men, how to be fearless, how to be risk takers. And as these young men grow up, they raise their hand for jobs that they know nothing about. They're comfortable with rejection and failure. We live in Silicon Valley. They say you can't even get funded unless you've had 2 failed startups. But for our girls, this coddling, this protectionism has created this generation of young women that can't handle critical feedback, that gravitate towards things that they're only good at, that don't know how to be brave. And it makes sense. If from the time you are 16, if you meet my son too, you will also, I call him my little pig pen. He's got a booger in his nose, yesterday's t-shirt, his diaper should have been changed 6 hours ago. He's a mess, but he's my mess. And when I think about the young girls in his life, And I watch their mothers and their caretakers, and I see them straighten their dresses, fix their bows. If something drops on their shirt, they run to go fix it. Imagine if from 16 months you are picked and plucked and fixed, how you feel by the time you are 16 years old. We have to change the way we are raising our girls, and I believe that coding is a big part of that, because for those of you who know how to code, you know it is a frustrating process of imperfection. That annoying semicolons in the wrong place, you got to do it over and over and over again. It teaches you how to fail. It teaches you how to be imperfect. So in 2012, the failed politician, the non-coder, decided to do something about it. And I started an organization called Girls Who Code. And, you know, when I launched Girls Who Code, I handpicked my first 20 girls. I borrowed a friend's conference room. I said to myself, Girls Who Code, that's a great name. I went on GoDaddy.com. It was there. I bought it for $1.99. And I just tried something. And we started with 20 girls in 2012. Less than 5 years later, we've taught 40,000 girls how to code in all 50 states. Thank you. And I want to put that into perspective. Remember I told you, last year as a country, we graduated 40,000 computer science graduates. And Girls Who Code alone taught 40,000 girls. Don't ever let anyone tell you that a problem is not solvable, because it absolutely is. And this is an example of that. And what we do is two things. We have free summer programs. We basically embed classrooms in technology companies. We had 80 of those programs in 11 cities. 1,600 girls went through that program, and they're at Facebook and Twitter and AT&T, Adobe, Pixar, Disney, Sephora, Prudential. Microsoft, every single major technology company in the country is building a pipeline of future technical workers on site. The second thing we do is we have after-school clubs. We have 1,500 clubs in all 50 states. And these clubs are at libraries, schools, private schools, public schools, charter schools. They're at homeless shelters. NPR did a story of the first ever club in a homeless shelter where my girls would leave their bedrooms at the top of the house and go downstairs to learn how to computer program. People always ask me, you know, as you've grown this program, like how has it continued to make a difference? And there's three major things. One is capabilities. We don't just tinker with code, we teach girls to code. And not only do we teach them how to code, we teach them how to be brave, how to be resilient, how to be risk takers. And it's that combination of soft skills and hard skills, the same things that we teach in our book, that will lead to this generation of powerful leaders. The second thing we teach are careers. You know, my father was an engineer, and I thought he fixed choo-choo trains. I had no idea what he did because I never went to work with him. And by building classrooms in technology companies and exposing our girls, you know, to these amazing tech leaders like Sheryl Sandberg. You know, every year Sheryl Sandberg does a town hall with our girls. And when Sheryl comes out, I remember one of our programs, she came out wearing her cool leather pants and her cool shirt, and the girls started screaming like she was Beyonce, because for them, she is. Role models are huge. The third thing is community. You know, our hashtag at Girls Who Code is #sisterhood. For the girls in this room, and for those of you who are still in middle school, you know, sometimes we're not very nice to each other. But at Girls Who Code, we are sisters. And we have girls from all walks of life, Black, Latino, trans, gay, straight, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, all walks of life that come together and become friends and build products and learn together. It's this sense of community that I believe that these young women will build the products of today and tomorrow. And it's working. 93% of our graduates are going on to major or minor in computer science. And the thing is 77% of them walked into one of our programs. Maybe mom made them sign up, maybe dad did, maybe grandma. And they went to Girls Who Code and they said, this is awesome. Like, I want to do this. We can solve this problem. It's fixable. I am a feminist with a capital F. I am. But I don't believe in gender parity for the sake of gender parity. I believe that there are so many innovations that are sitting on the sidelines because we're not teaching girls to code. And I think about my students. I think about Cora, who was 5 years old when her daddy got diagnosed with cancer. And she decided at that moment that she was going to be a doctor because she wanted to save her father's life. And it wasn't until Girls Who Code that she saw the connection between medicine and coding, where she built an algorithm to help detect whether a cancer is benign or malignant. I think about Jasmine, single mom, works at Burger King, has 4 brothers and sisters. Every day, Jasmine would leave her home in Oakland, take 2 buses and 2 trains to Facebook to learn how to computer program. Till Girls Who Code, she had never met anybody who was Latina that worked in tech. And at Girls Who Code, in our program, you can build whatever you want. And Jasmine decided that she wanted to build an app called Wacky Words. Because too many kids in her community, they wanted to march up into the middle class too. But they didn't have access to fancy SAT tutors and SAT classes. So she built an app to help teach them SAT words. She decided to not build something for herself, but to build something for others. I think about Trisha Prabhu. Trisha, 16 years old, Naperville, Illinois. Every day of her life, she was cyberbullied. And then one day, she was reading a story about a girl in her community that was 12 years old that climbed to the top of a building and jumped because she was being bullied at school. And Trisha said, you know, how can at 12 it be so bad? So she came home and she built an app called Rethink. So every time you're about to say something that's not very nice on text, it asks you, are you sure you want to send this? 16 years old. I always say, if we want to find a cure to cancer, teach girls to code. We want to solve homelessness, teach girls to code. We want to do something about climate change, teach girls to code. Girls are our change agents. They are our future leaders, and we must invest in them. And we invest in them by teaching them a skill set that will allow them to solve our world's biggest and smallest problems. And if you don't believe me at the amazing things our girls have built, go to our website and look at our project gallery. You will be amazed. And you will agree that I do, that our future, it's in good hands. So how can you help? We got to change culture. I got a lot of parents in this room. I know you're on social media. You can get angry like me. Let's do it. This is a book that Mattel put out called I Can Be a Computer Science Engineer. So the point of this book was to inspire girls to go into computer science. I'm going to read it to you real quick for those of you who can't see. That's Barbie, and that's her friend Skipper. And Skipper says, your robot puppy is so sweet. Can I play your game? I'm only creating the design ideas, Barbie says, laughing. I need Stephen and Brian's help to turn it into a real game. Boo is right. In 3 sentences, Barbie told millions of her fans that you are not smart enough, that you are not good enough, that computers are for boys. This stuff happens all the time, and we got to shut it down. We got to shut it down because these images, these words have a huge effect on our girls, which leads me to why I'm here today. I grew up loving Sweet Valley High. But the thing is I never saw myself in those characters. And so I would go to audiences like this all across the country, and invariably an amazing teacher or a parent or grandparent would come up to me and she'd say, I'm with you, Reshma. I want to give my girl, a daughter, my granddaughter, my niece, my sister, I want to expose her to this incredible language. What do I do? Is there a book? And I went online and I went to bookstores and I realized there was no book. And also, year after year after year of growing our program, we've had to turn girls away. For our summer program, 7,000 girls apply for 1,600 spots. I'm not running a competitive coding program. I just want to teach all girls to code. So, in partnership with Penguin, we are coming out. We came out last week with 2 books, and we have 13. And these are books for all ages. Our first 2 books, Learn to Code, Change the World, and The Friendship Code, are for girls 8 to 12. And Learn to Code, you know, it's about the pioneers of computer science. How many of you knew that the world's first programmer was a woman? Great. And her name is Ada Lovelace. And there's Ada and Grace Hopper and the ENIAC women, Margaret Hamilton and Katherine Johnson, so many amazing, amazing women that our girls and boys need to hear about. This book also kind of tells you about the basics of computational thinking, like algorithms and variables and conditionals. Tells you about some of the incredible stories that I shared with you. And the book, it's not broccoli. It's like M&Ms. It's fun, and it's interesting, and it's awesome. And when you read it, for the young girls in this room, you're not going to feel like we're making you do something. You're going to finish it and be like, tell me more. The next book that we have coming out is The Friendship Code. It's kind of like our version of Babysitting Club meets Coders. And at the center of both of these books are 5 girls. Leela, who wears a hijab. Lucy, who loves video games. Sophia, who has an abuela. Erin, who's the girl next door. And Maya, who loves fashion, who's kind of like the cool kid. These girls look like every single one of the girls in this room. Every single one of you are going to identify with these characters and see yourself in them. This book is for each and every one of you. And I know you're going to love them. After you read these books, or maybe before, we want you to either join one of our Girls Who Code clubs. We're in all 50 states. Go on our website, and if there's not a club in your community, I promise you I will start one. We want to get to 5,000 clubs, 100,000 girls this year, and we can do it. Again, this problem, it's solvable. I want to leave you with one story for the dads in this room. I was giving this talk a couple years ago, and I got an email from this guy, Ken. And Ken said, you know, Reshma, your story had immediate impact on my family. I was at home and I was telling my wife about what you were talking about. And that week, my parents had sent my son a Kano computer kit. And my son was not interested in it at all. And as I was talking to my wife about your story, I realized that I had never asked my daughter, Sophie, if she wanted to play with the Kano computer kit. And I looked at my daughter, I said, Sophie, honey, you want to play with the computer kit? And she said, Daddy, I'd love to. And he said, Reshma, I can't get her away from it. Last message. Let your girls get dirty. Let them tinker. Let them take things apart. Put a drill in their hand when they're 12 years old. If the toilet's broken, take them to go fix it. Stop protecting and coddling our girls. Let's teach them how to be brave. And it starts, as weird as it's going to sound, by teaching them how to code. Thank you. Thank you. I think I have a couple of minutes for questions, if anybody has them.
Where can you get the books and how do you sign up for Girls Who Code?
Amazing. So you can get the books everywhere. I'm doing a little book signing after this. And you can sign up for Girls Who Code on our website, girlswhocode.com. You got one more question? No?
How many books do you have?
How many books do I have? Right now we have 2 books that have come out, Girls Who Code and The Friendship Code. And then we have another 11 coming out over the next couple of years.
Have you been to the U.S. territories?
Have I been to the U.S. territories? I think so.
Excuse me?
Yes, hi.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Did you know that I actually went to a coding club at my age, even though everyone else was pretty much older than me?
Yay! Let's give her a big round of applause. I am so proud of you, and you keep doing that, okay? Did you like it?
Yeah.
You did?
Except all the other ones are for older kids.
Well, seems like you are going to be a trailblazer then. You can tell all your friends about it too. Maybe get them to join?
Yeah.
Okay.
What made you get the idea?
What made me get the idea? All the amazing girls that I've taught. I have the best job in the world because I get to work with girls, and they inspire me. And so I wanted to tell their stories, and I wanted to share all the awesome things that I've learned from teaching them. Thank you.
I'm inspired in your programs. So how do you get to the website again?
It's girlswhocode.com. Okay? And if anybody can send me, I probably shouldn't do this, but I will. Anyone can send me an email at reshma@girlswhocode.com if you have any questions.
How many languages of code is there?
Oh, that's a great question. How many languages of code is there? A lot. But the thing is what we teach is computational thinking because a lot of languages change. I'm sure there are people in this room that did BASIC, right? Way back when. And now there's languages like HTML and C++. So it's by the time you get to be my age, I don't even know what the languages will be. But that's what's awesome, because you can learn computational thinking, and then you can learn any language. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I read your book and I like it. How do I get started?
Did you read the book?
Yeah.
And you liked it? How old are you?
10.
10. That's great. So I want you to go on our website and see if your school already has a Girls Who Code club, and if not, we'll start one.
Thank you. Did you write the Girls Who Code books?
So, great question. So, the Girls Who Code, I'm the author of the Girls Who Code, Learn to Code and Change the World. And I had an amazing team. I had a great illustrator. I had a technical partner. I had a writing partner. And we have this amazing partnership with Penguin. So on the fiction book, this author called Stasia wrote the Friendship Code, and we worked together with our team to make sure that she could also tell kind of the computing concepts that were really important. So what we do is get amazing authors that are writing board books or coloring books or fiction series, and we partner with them.
I do Scratch.com.
Great.
And I do like HTML on Khan Academy, and I was wondering what kind of language you teach.
So we teach, that's awesome. For all the parents, Scratch is a great place to kind of start. It's drag and drop. So it's probably the first thing that you learned. And I'm proud that you're on Khan Academy because they have an amazing website where you can actually watch videos and have a coding platform there at the same time. You know, the way that we teach at Girls Who Code, it's the question that we ask ourselves is, what do you want to build? So like if you want to build an app, we often teach, whether it's App Inventor or Swift. If it's a website, it's HTML. And, you know, we teach C++ and Java, but it's all about trying to first decide what do you want to build, and then what's the right language for that.
Okay, thank you. Why does it start at, why do you have to be in 6th grade?
It's a great question. So you don't have to be in 6th grade. So our clubs first started out being for high school, and then we went a little bit younger in middle school. And then we wanted to serve girls as young as we possibly can, which is why we wrote these books. I have a feeling that these books are probably going to inspire a lot of amazing young girls who are going to probably push us to start our clubs a little bit younger. So more to come on that. Thank you. Awesome. Well, I hope you come to our book signing. And I think I must say one more thing. All the proceeds of the book go to Girls Who Code. So you're not just buying a book, but you are helping support a movement. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.